So Danny Blank, good to see you. It's been a long
Tony?
time. And at one time, we saw you all the time because you were very much involved in the game here in the Neenah area. How did you get involved in soccer? Because you didn't play it in grade school or high school, I don't think.
No, but it's interesting. When I was in high school, and in our gym class, we had a coach who had us playing, called it speedball, and it had a lot of soccer rules, but you could also throw the ball and move the ball, and a little combo of things. And it was
Where was that? High school? Where did you go to high school?
Neenah High School.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I'm originally from Neenah, grew up here, and so it was that kind of got my interest. And then, as I guess not too much longer, I was starting to see soccer players out there kicking the ball around and that sort of thing. And I think I was about 19 or 20, and I was dating a girl who had a brother, Kirk Ryan.
Oh,
and,
sure, yeah.
and Kirk and all the neighborhood kids, Todd Williams, Bruce Douglas, and those guys who formed the first team, eventually they were playing at about 12, 13 years old. And I started playing with them. It was a lot of fun. So that's really how.
That was the first group of kids that came out
Right.
and soccer. They all went to Lakeview School. They really had
A lot of them
first
did, yeah.
program.
And they started playing in the programs, I think, in, I don't know exactly what year, Paper Valley Soccer Club and...
Lincoln was in the early 70s, but they signed up in Menasha because that's where we had a program with boys sports.
Right.
And they sort of came with Kirk Ryan. You brought up his name. He ended up playing for Eric Elderman at Lawrence University for 4 years.
I thought he went to... I really thought he went to Marquette or...
He might have gone on because
He did get a scholarship.
Dental school.
Yeah, well, he was a big, strong kid, you know. He put up at center forward, and he could pass, he could run, he could do it all. But he was a two-sport athlete. I know he played tennis as well. He excelled in tennis. Omar Atasi, he was a two-sport athlete, played basketball on the varsity, and was a great soccer player as well. So we were maybe I'll get ahead of myself here, but flash forward after, you know, I think around 1970 or something, 71. After that, I had gone to coach a basketball team in Three Lakes, Wisconsin, a high school basketball team, a varsity team. And so after about 4 years of doing that, the circumstances got me back into the valley. And I was hanging out with some soccer people, and they're saying, hey, I think we might have we're looking for a coach to coach the Neenah High School varsity soccer team. I said, varsity? And he said, yeah, this is going to be the first year in 1978. Autumn of 1978 was going to be the first varsity soccer team. And I said, well, I mean, I'm a coach. I don't have great experience in soccer. I follow soccer and all of that, but I mean, if you want someone, I'd be more than happy to do it. That's kind of how it began. And I mean, now over 40 years, I mean, I'm the biggest soccer fan that there is. And I've traveled to Europe and to places to see matches, and I watched. You know, we had the Euro 2020. Really was 2021, but they called it the Euro 2020. I don't think I missed a match. I saw it all. Yeah, and I was, you know, I had the time, so I was.
I watched a lot of
great fun.
I was disappointed with the Dutch and the Czechs.
Oh yeah. There was a lot of upsets during the course. There was a lot of great games.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Well, eventually we were all rooting for England because that's where the game started.
Right.
And,
Yeah, me too. And I've got
that's
tons of friends who, over the years, who were some mentors, some just great friends and coaches. And I've always been a Manchester United fan.
Oh yeah.
And you know, it's either when when you say you're a Manchester United fan, they either love you or hate you. It's kind of like the New York Yankees, right?
Same
Same thing,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's great, we can see it on TV now.
Right.
Finally, it's been going on for about 10 years. But back in the 60s, when I came here, I didn't have soccer.
yeah, and you didn't have the internet where you could, keep
Right.
track so
Yeah.
easily. Now you just go and find out
Yeah.
what time the game is and where it is, and you can stream it if you want.
We had to make a $25 phone call to the Netherlands to find out how the TV is, but that didn't happen very often. Yeah, we're spoiled now, we're great. So you grew up in the, kind of soccer was growing.
Mhm.
It was the first soccer that was being played. And we probably would have never been as successful as we were if it wasn't for the parents, like you were in Atasi. His dad was very much involved,
Yeah.
Bruce, his
Douglas,
yeah, Bruce did a lot of, his dad did a lot of work on getting soccer
yeah,
in the valley to make it the conference.
right.
Went to many different high schools and school boards.
Well,
So yeah, we were lucky to grow up in, and then the fields. We went to the rec department, oh yeah, fields, yeah, we have some good spare land. And we got all these fields at Memorial Park.
that's true.
Yeah.
And now you go around, you look around, and we've got all kinds of
Yes, it's a pretty good
programs
field,
going
yeah.
on, and that would, and honestly, we were very successful. We played in a kind of a strange conference because there weren't very many high schools at that time that had boys soccer.
Right.
So, we had De Pere. We played with De Pere and with I think there was a
Kimberly,
no, they didn't call it Kimberly, but they had a team over in Wisconsin Rapids. They had a group there, and so those things, Premontre. Remember the old
yes,
Premontre
yeah,
had a team.
yeah.
Xavier finally got a team. We played a lot of those teams in one of the Appleton East or West, but there wasn't that was our conference.
There was not a Fox Valley Conference like we have today.
No, not like
Was
now.
that the Woodlands Conference?
It was called the Woodlands
Yeah.
Conference. Yeah.
Ed Byrne from DP.
Right,
That started.
it was
yes.
instrumental, and
Yeah.
and so, but the reason we were so successful really was the feeder program that was going on, with the clubs that you were involved in, Harry and Jim Nash for sure, and so that was, we were just blessed to have those kinds of players with, first of all, with skills.
Yes.
I mean, you didn't have to, you just had to work with those guys. And I think the thing that I was able to bring to that team, I was cutting my teeth basically, understanding the tactics of soccer. I understood some of the skills, and I worked hard at just trying to be a decent player myself. I'd go, kick it around against the boards and learn how to try to trap. I played in the, I think it was the Fox Valley Bombers for a year, and did that, and played some, the Appleton had some indoor leagues I would play in, and so I was learning the game as fast as I could because I liked it. It was really fun.
That helps a lot too, if you got the passion for
It
it.
was a passion for it. So
It's
yeah, but we were fortunate that we had the feeder programs, and that really helped to make us successful.
So how did you get involved in Minnesota? They had a Division I program at St. Mary's, and we were all familiar with St. Mary's because we used to have soccer camps over there.
Right.
Harry and I.
Yeah, that's
used to
right.
be part of this.
I remember
So
that, you told
how
me
did that happen?
Well, I was interviewing for an assistant basketball coaching job at the university there, and they said, "Do you know anything about soccer?" And I said, "Well, I coached Neenah High School for 3 years, and yeah, I do." And they said, "Okay." So we're starting a women's program, first year. It's from scratch, and that was 1982. So back then, it was just especially for women's collegiate athletics, it was just beginning for soccer. So it was good and bad because I got the job, and I went there and I started that program, and it was, like I said, we had about 3 or 4 players who had some skills, and that was about it. And it was trying to organize them and teach them basics. So that was really difficult, but then the nice thing about that was I was able to recruit the following year. So I was recruiting from, Chicago area, Minneapolis area. They all had really great soccer programs, and there were, St. Louis, we had kids from the East Coast as well, Boston area, and so the school gave me, some money to get out there and do it, and those were the first. I didn't have a lot of competition. There wasn't a lot of teams, recruiting that strongly, and so we built up a program and had we were conference champions for I think five years, and were nationally ranked for I think at least 10 years, number 3, 2, something like that. And we never made it to the Final Four. Comes down to penalty kicks often, and it came down to that. And it was like one of our kids missed the shot that could have won it and ended up losing it. But it was a great experience. I was there for 22 years.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow! I didn't realize that was
Mhm.
that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Where did the time go, right?
Yeah. Boy. Yeah, they had a fantastic program. What a beautiful area too there.
It is, and with the Mississippi River and the bluffs, and it is a pretty campus because it's set up in the up in the bluffs there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So after that, did you do any more in soccer?
Well, it's interesting. After I left, I
Did you? Oh, you
retired
Yeah.
in 2004. Really,
Mhm.
kind of an early retirement, and I stayed in Winona for a while, and I helped coach and get their girls soccer program started. Not started, but I took it over, and we had it for about 3 or 4 years. And I was also the director of the Winona youth soccer programs.
Mhm.
So it was from kids from 5 till 18 or whatever it was, and so I did a lot with that. But the key for me was the passion, and then going out and to all the camps. I saw you at camps down in Kenosha, and all over the place, and then being involved in the National Soccer Coaches Association, and going to all of those conventions, and just learning and understanding it.
And everybody was much more approachable
Right.
back then too.
Right.
Very small community.
Yeah, and you knew everybody, and
Yeah.
and we worked with Bobby Ganser. He was a national soccer coach at one time, and it was fortunate because we had great people down in the Milwaukee area, Madison area, and so the resources were there for me to learn. And I was I was in high school. I played 4 sports. I played basketball, football, baseball, and then I also ran cross country. So in basketball, as I was a point guard, and I was a quarterback in football, I was a coach. In my head, I was a coach.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't intend to. I was going to do something else other than that, and I didn't go into physical education. I loved history, and I studied that, and eventually said, okay, I'm going to education, and I liked education, working with kids, and so that's kind of how I ended up doing
Well, it's great you got involved in soccer.
It is, and it's the best thing that happened to me, because now you talk to my wife, and I used to be very passionate about basketball, and I'm not so much anymore, but anytime there's a match on MLS or whatever, I love to watch it, and I love to see the tactics, how they're trying to break teams down, and it's just, it's fun, and you get to know the players, and all.
Your influence at the Winona youth program helped us too, because we had some teams from Winona come and join the Midwest.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So,
and and that they were a lot of them went on to play in college. I know I even recruited some of them when I was coaching there. Yeah, so it was good.
Did your own feeding program there.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, it was great talking to you. Is there anything else you might want to add to?
Well, you know what? It was when I look back, especially in Neenah High School. It was one of the nicest things that we had when those kids first realized that they were going to be able to get a varsity letter playing soccer. And that was back when, you know, there was a lot of people were, you know, some naysayers, and it was hard breaking in. You know, I know that sometimes there were some people who looked at it, but what helped us, honestly, were the kids like Atasi and Ryan and others who played dual sports. You know, so they said, oh, the kid's, he's an athlete, yeah. Well, you know, of course he's an athlete. And you watch some top-notch soccer, and you see how physical it is, and you see how athletic these guys are. And
Yeah, you did it without even having role models in the United States.
Right.
And that's the difference today.
Right.
We now have role models, and we always had kids, lots of kids coming out for soccer, and great athletes.
Right.
But then when they got to be in their teens, the recognition that they saw that basketball players got, football players,
Right.
they went to that sport. Now a lot of them stay,
right,
and they're 18, 19 years old, and they get recruited to play in Germany,
yeah.
Italy,
I know.
Spain.
I mean, U.S. soccer has come a long way. I remember when we were, you know, we'd be watching television or something, and gosh, they had a commercial on TV, and there was a soccer ball in it. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, I said, hey, soccer's making it.
The
in
soccer
the
was
US.
such a great viewing point.
Well,
It's a
And
market.
you remember too the 10-year plans. Remember? I mean, it's always in the U.S. In 10 years, we're gonna maybe get to the World Cup, or we're gonna do this. Or
Win it, yeah.
I was really fortunate. I got to 2 World Cups, and well, one was in the U.S. in Chicago, so I went down.
Yeah, we went there too.
Germany played Belgium, and that was I mean, that German team was phenomenal back then, and then I did get to see the following year in that was 94, and in 95 I went to see in Sweden. Michelle Akers and Mia Hamm and those guys. They were a good team, but Sweden ended up winning it that year. That year, but those are good memories.
Sweden has always been a menace for
Yeah.
It still is
Well,
now.
they probably might have to meet him again.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Well, it's great talking to you, Tommy.
Well, great talking to you.
Excited, yeah.
Wonderful seeing you again, buddy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, brought back some great memories that will
It's been way too long
for a while yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I get back here to Neenah every once in a while now. It was harder when I was living in Panama, but and then the COVID thing, and it was.
Yeah, that's ruined a lot of things.